Coming up to 7:53. Now, do you get to hear this on a Sunday morning where you live? Beautiful, isn't it? I do love it. I don't know what you think. Now, churches and cathedrals are being challenged to show people the ropes by bringing to life the 400-year-old tradition of English-style bell ringing. It's part of Heritage Open Days this September. Local churches and cathedrals are calling to the ringing world to open up 500 sites, which will provide a unique opportunity for ringing bands across England to share the heritage hidden inside their bell towers, as well as their passion with millions of visitors who every year venture out to discover the treasures on their doorsteps. So, what is the appeal of bell ringing? Well, let's speak to one of the people that rings Birmingham cathedral bells, and that's Secretary of the St Martin's Guild, Clare McCardle. Hi, Clare.
Hello there.
Hi. It's lovely, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
I do love it. I mean, I know I don't live in a village with a church next door, and that could be a little bit irritating, but there's just something so wonderful about that sound, so English.
Yes, it is really. It's deeply rooted in our British culture. I think most people probably have heard church bells at some point in their lives, and what we like to think is that we provide a grand soundtrack to all of the historic moments in the country. So we can ring out in celebration, but there's nothing more moving than a bell tolling sadly, sort of in empathy with grief when things happen. So every Remembrance Sunday, for instance, the bells sound quite a bit different, but they're sort of spine-chilling, really.
They are, and of course what we just heard were the bells of Birmingham Cathedral, weren't they?
That's right, yes,
Yeah.
a wonderful peal of bells.
And like you just said, I mean, yes, now we just love hearing it, but at one time it was a very, very important part of everyday life, community life, wasn't it?
Yes, it has been for the last 400 years or so, but it's still quite an important part of community life because, as I say, we still ring out for national celebrations, such as the Queen's 90th birthday was the most recent one, and we're really pleased to have this opportunity in September to be able to ring out in support of the Heritage Days.
Yeah, okay. Well, tell me more about this Heritage Day. Just expand on it.
Well, it's the towers have been asked to ring between 6 and 7 o'clock on Thursday, the 8th of September, and also as many as possible to be open during the weekend for visitors to come and have a look, which is a great opportunity for us because it's actually quite hard to showcase ringing to the general public, as you said before, we're usually hidden away in a bell tower somewhere, so it's and often people don't even know we're there.
How hard is it to learn to ring a church bell?
Well, it's not very hard. It does require a little bit of coordination, but and I suppose people who are naturally sporty probably have that coordination anyway. But coordination is actually something that we can teach, and so we do that. People, it takes about a good few hours of an intensive session to actually learn to handle a bell on their own. But then after that, it's a bit like playing a game or learning to drive, but playing a game where there's lots of different skill levels because you make progress, and it's very satisfying, of course, getting on to the next level of a game. And Bellringing's a bit like that, and it sort of goes on for years and years. You can be getting these new levels, but
and you must have that wonderful feeling of achievement. You know, you've done it.
Definitely, yes. I teach quite a lot of people, and I can say there's nothing more satisfying than looking at the look of pleasure in their eyes when they realise they've achieved something they've been trying to do for a little while.
Yeah, I know this is going to sound a daft question, but I'm going to ask it. Is it dangerous?
No, not really.
Because I always think whenever I've been up into, cathedral, what's it called? Cathedral loft, cathedral, bell tower.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it sounds like I go up a lot, but I haven't. I've been about a couple of times in my life, and it always just seems a bit dangerous.
Well, obviously there's an element of risk there, but we handle the risk perfectly safely. So you need an awareness that there's an element of risk, but there are very, very few accidents that actually happen. But that's the same with anything. There's a lot fewer accidents in Bellringing than there are accidents in cars, for instance. So it is. I think it's a safe activity.
Now, anyone who's a regular follower of the Archers, the BBC soap, will know that sometimes they've found it quite difficult to get bell ringers. They've had a bit of a shortage. Is that what happens in real life?
Well, we like to try and encourage anybody to learn to ring, and I think that's probably one of our difficulties, is persuading people that actually it is a skill that anybody can learn. And it doesn't need to be associated with the church too much. Obviously, it is associated with the church, but bell ringing itself is an activity that's open to anybody.
And how do they find out about it?
Well, we in Birmingham, we're very fortunate because we have a dedicated training programme. We've started a school called the Birmingham School of Bell Ringing, and we'll take people there from raw recruit to experienced ringers. We have a website if anybody wants to have to look at it for more information.
What's that?
It's www.birminghambells.com, and it tells you a lot about bell ringing, about the history of it, about how the process of learning to ring, and also there's contact details on there to get in touch.
Oh, it sounds fantastic. So just to remind everyone, 8th of September, that's the Heritage Day, isn't it?
That's right.
You're going to be ringing the bells, just remind us?
Between 6 and 7 in the evening.
Oh, it sounds great. Oh, Claire, thanks for joining us. It is something... Well, I'm not saying I'm going to become a bell ringer, but I do find it quite intriguing. I really do. I think it's great. It really is. And thank you so much for sparing time to come and tell us all about it this morning. Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Thanks.